that's a 4:3 picture. So that's technically 1.33 to 1. And for those of you that are confused about how to conclude this or deduce this, you just enter the ratio, 4 divided by 3, and you got 1.3 repeating. So you always truncate it at the hundredths place after the decimal point. Just like a 16:9 picture, you've got 16 divided by 9. Well, that's 1.77778. So you round that up. And truncate it at the hundredths place, it's 1.78 to 1. And a lot of your widescreen movies that look like 16:9 are actually 1.8 to 1 and not 1.78 to 1. Or they're actually rather 1.85 to 1. And then the even wider screen movies that you'll see are actually 2.35 to 1, which is very widescreen. I've only seen one movie that I've personally transcoded that was wider than that, and that was during the 50s or 60s, might have even been 70s, but I believe it was during the 60s era. They had an aspect ratio that it was working with. I believe it was a 2.6 to 1. It was very wide. I don't remember what the movie was. It might have been 12 Mile Reef or something. But that's how you figure out your aspect ratios as a decimal number. Now, I believe that this filter for the D size the perimeter has to be a decimal number. I don't think you can put a ratio in there. I don't remember. Even if you can, I'm not going to look back into it because I know the decimal representations of the ratios by heart. The next thing is audio filter. Now, if you'll notice, if you can see on my screen right now, I've got my volume turned halfway up. Now, when adjusting the audio, the audio and DVDs are always too quiet. When you're on a computer and you're playing it back, even if you have your volume turned all the way up, there's going to be parts of the movies where you can't hear what they're saying. Well, you got to normalize the audio and sometimes amplify it. So hit a space because you're done with your video filter change. So hit space and then go -AF for audio filter. And then space, and then we're going to go ahead and give the audio filter its filter chain. We're going to use volume to amplify the volume. Volume equals 2. And you can go negative too. You don't have to go positive. But I've never seen anything that had to be negative. Actually, that's not true. I have seen one movie that I had to put negative. All right, then comma, and then vol, VOL, norm, NORM. It'll be VOLNORM for volume normalization, and then go equals 1. And this isn't the level that you're normalizing. This is the method that you're using to normalize. The first method is the default method, and it uses software normalization, or soft clipping, rather. And the second method uses hard clipping, which causes distortion, so don't use the second method. Vol norm equals 1, and that'll normalize the volume across the video to where the loud and the quiet stuff is more close to the same amplitude. Then hit enter.
Fathers and sons have the foresight to retain international merchandising rights.
Alright, now, how you test this video out to see if the volume is at the right levels. This is my own method I just arbitrarily made up. I'm sure there might be an official documentation somewhere. But what I do is I turn my volume halfway up, as you can see. If I can clearly hear what they're saying sitting right in front of my computer with the volume halfway up, then I know it's good. The reason why you don't want to make it to where it's loud with the volume halfway up is because if you turn the volume all the way up, it's going to sound like shit and it's going to distort and, it's going to just sound like crap, and you don't want that. So you always turn the volume halfway up and make sure you can clearly hear what they're saying.
It's going to be a long ride.
Alright, so we could clearly hear what they're saying there, and that's with the volume halfway up. And the advantage is that now the reason why we limit it to that is because when you're playing the movie back and you go to sit down on your couch or something and watch it from your computer screen, or if you're like me, you just lay in bed and watch it from your bed, when you turn the volume all the way up to watch the movie back and make sure it's loud enough to hear all the way by your bed, the loud noises, if you put it too loud, the loud noises are going to sound like shit coming through your speakers. So you can test that by, again, making sure you can hear the voices like you can now, and make sure you can clearly hear what they're saying. Then turn your volume all the way up.
Let's begin with part 4.
And make sure it doesn't blow out your speakers with the volume all the way up. It sounds like it was pushing the speakers pretty good, but it wasn't blowing them. So that's pretty much our optimal volume level. A lot of people don't tell you how to do this because a lot of people don't do it. They just turn their speakers up even more, or even find another way to get the volume to be even louder through the computer itself, which you need to set it in the audio. All right, now we've got that whole filter chain set up, the video filters and the audio filter. So start at the beginning of the VF flag for the video filter flag, and then highlight all the way into the volume norm flag. Right click, because you can't control C in a terminal, because that means cancel in the terminal. Right click and go to copy. Open this empty video file, and actually it's not empty because I already did stuff, but it'll look like that. Now, and then paste in your video filter. You know what? I didn't crop it. I didn't catch that border the first time. Alright, so check it out. It's a good thing I went back over this anyway. Alright, now this is assuming that you got this template off my website, that you went to linuxintro.com and you downloaded this file and put it on your computer. This also assumes that you copied the where am I going? This also assumes you copied my mencoder config file, which is your profile. It contains all your profiles. And in this file, you see my scroller right here. You can tell this file is long. Actually, here, I'll just scroll down it. I have every configuration for every screen aspect ratio and every quality setting that you could want inside this file. It is, goddamn, 1,424 lines long. Now, I put a lot of work into this, and I've optimized all of the filters for each quality setting. And you've got quality is setting of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. As the number goes up, the quality goes down. So quality setting of 1 is the best quality you can get. So that file you have to have on your computer, the one you just seen, and it has to be under your users. It has to be under your, where am I? Alex. Show hidden files, .mplayer right here, and then mencoder.config or .conf. That is where you're going to put that, and I actually keep a copy of it on my my backup drives. But anyway, yeah, so it has to be in your mencoder or mplayer directory for mplayer to know about these profiles, to know they exist. This allows you to enter a shortcut right here instead of entering all your codec options, which would take half this freaking page. Instead of entering all those codec options, you can just tell it what profile to use. And here for Family Guy, that Star Wars movie, I haven't seen it yet. I use the Tune 2 setting, which it tells it it's going to be a cartoon, and give it the second quality of cartoon, second highest quality. And always pay attention to your D size. When you paste your filter in here, your filter chain for your video and audio filter, look at D size, 1.33. Now make sure that that your profile matches your D size. That's because this file, when you download it, is going to say 1.78 because most movies are 1.78. Always remember to fix that to be 1.33 or 2.35 or 1.85 depending on the video you're working with. If you don't, you're going to be pissed off when you're finished transcoding a video 6 hours later and it looks screwed up because you forgot to plug in the right aspect ratio. Also, don't forget to rename it down here in the final pass. It's just 2-pass encoding to give it optimal quality. Alright, that covered how to do a basic video. We're going to move down to we'll go to, I don't know if Iron Man's progressive all the way through or not. Let's check out Rush Hour. That's an older one. It'll probably be definitely Telesend. And I said telesign before, but it's properly pronounced telesyn, which means for television from cinema. Rush Hour. Here we go. Alright. So go mplayer, then drag over Rush Hour, drop it in there. Then go dash benchmark, space dash, no sound, all one word, space dash, VO space null, for video out is null. Now watch. You see all that shit see how it just said DMUX_MPG, Progressive NTSC Content Detective. That means there's whole frames. It's not interlaced. And then it'll skip back and forth because it keeps detecting interlaced. That means it's been telesyned. That's a process they apply to DVDs to make the frame rate switch back to television frame rate, even though it's using progressive content, which